Couple of chasers getting after it here. You see the 83 car, Brian Vickers. He is the only chaser who has not had a top 10 finish thus far in the chase, and surprisingly, because they have been so good in the first 26 races of the year. And the point standings at the top of your screen for the chase. You see Jimmie Johnson right now would have a 47-point lead over Mark Martin. Montoya third, and Jeff Gordon continuing to move up in position. Right now he'd be fourth in the point standings.
Here's Greg Biffle taking the spot away from David Gilliland in the 02 car. David's had a great qualifying effort, and they stayed running well here in the first part of the race. That was for the 17th spot. Dave, how about David Gilliland?
Well, there's nothing normal about this race car. How about that? It is definitely an R&D project. Gilliland trying to impress sponsor Farm Bureau, but they're also trying to get some things done for their teammates, especially Denny Hamlin, who's in the chase. Crew Chief Wally Brown told me this morning, we want to do well for everybody, and Gilliland seems like he wants to go to the front. Vince?
The 14 of Tony Stewart has had his hands full here tonight. This is the same car he won with in Kansas, but it hasn't been a winner so far this evening. The back is out of the track, he says. That means he can't get that back in to keep on the track. Very loose through the corners and not driving off, and Tony Stewart is slipping back, now 18th.
And he better hustle, because you see Lowe.
Bliss is in the wall there.
71 car caught it coming off the corner. There's Truex behind him. And Marcus Ambrose, our in-race reporter, behind Truex.
Hey, talk about Tony's loose race car, too. With the speeds as high as they are here, that makes it very difficult to go fast and try to pass cars when you're back in traffic. So Tony has his hands full, and they'll be working with every pit stop to try to get him a little better car, something he can be more aggressive with.
The 9 car of Casey Kane had gone by Juan Pablo Montoya for 7th spot, and now Juan Pablo moving up the racetrack a little bit, starting to reel that 9 back in.
Well, he's been moving around a lot during this race, trying to find where his car works the best. And I mean, he's not afraid to go anywhere on the racetrack.
Yeah, this is a little more of what we saw with him yesterday in practice, as he went in a little bit higher and then would cut the car back across the track, trying to really make the straightaway as long as possible here.
You can see these speeds. I mean, they're 89 miles an hour start-finish line, approaching 200 getting into turn 1.
Wow, 197 a moment ago, and they have 63 laps on this racetrack. Some rubber down. We had a little brief rain shower if you just joined our coverage. And in qualifying, we saw this guy, Jimmie Johnson, pushing 200 miles an hour going into turn 1. It is 62 laps in of the 334, and then Jimmie Johnson right now has led 3 times for 44 laps.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Aerial coverage from high above Lowe's Motor Speedway, provided by our good friends at Goodyear. New Fuel Max tires help you get there on less gas. Calculate your savings at GoodyearTires.com. We're in lap 66 of the Banking 500 at Charlotte, only from Bank of America, and it is Jimmie Johnson who is showing the way, the 5-time winner at this racetrack and the pole sitter, now pulling away a little bit from second place car Denny Hamlin. Let's get you up to speed, beginning with our leader. Here's Dave Burns.
And Doc, after that qualifying run at over 192 miles an hour, everyone was impressed, including crew chief Chad Knaus, who told me, you know what? It was good, but it could have been a little bit better. Can you believe that? A little bit better. It was just a little bit too loose for Jimmie. He had to catch the car just a little. Maybe they could have gone 193. I don't know. The 11 car of Denny Hamlin runs second and is happy to be there after some contact at the double file restart. He thought he might have had damage to the left rear of the car that was making his car too loose. But just about 5 laps ago, he radioed his crew. Not bad, and he's catching the 48. Jamie?
And word is not bad for Matt Kenseth. I talked to Drew Blickensderfer, his crew chief, this morning, and he said this is the same car they ran at Kansas before they blew a motor. He said this car had high expectations. It's a new generation for Roush. They hoped it ran well, because this is the future. Dave?
Kyle Busch raced his way into the top 5 after starting 10th, and that's because he worked hard in practice. Crew Chief Steve Addington told me that when final practice was almost over, Kyle said, yeah, that's the feel you want. And then he stopped and said, you know what? Let's work on it some more. And that's when they found the speed in addition to the handling. Vince?
Mark Martin is running 5th. Mark, pessimistic by nature, but Alan Gustafson, his crew chief, said he's really been very positive over the course of the past couple of weeks, and it's showing on the radio tonight as well. Mark came over just a few moments ago and said the car is really pretty good. He said, I'm just in dirty air. All is well. Dave.
With a lead change at the front right now for Denny Hamlin taking over that lead. The 07 car of Casey Mears started 42nd on the field today. And crew chief Todd Berrier said, you know what, we're really not that bad. We think we're going to be better than that. Right now, the car just a little free from the center off. They have strategized their way to the front, and they've got the speed now. Vince?
Juan Pablo Montoya, the only driver who's finished in the top 5 in all 4 of the chase races so far. He's outside the top 5 right now. He's been battling a tight race car. Yeah, it's a bit odd, isn't it, seeing Juan Pablo in that blue car tonight? In fact, his pit crew reminded him on his last stop, hey, remember, we're wearing blue tonight. Shannon?
Well, Casey Kane is wearing red. Oh, he's getting a little loose there, too. He's coming off a tough run last weekend where he finished 34th, and he's looking to this track tonight where he has 3 wins to turn this chase around. He said this is one of his best tracks. It has been since he came onto the scene. Right now, he needs a little bit help on entry, and from the looks of it, maybe a little bit off the turns too. Jamie?
A lot of people ask, why isn't Jeff Gordon as fast as his teammate Jimmy Johnson? Well, I asked his crew chief today, Steve Letarte, and Steve said, you know what, these are 2 different drivers and they don't like the same setups. We've tried Jimmy Johnson's setup and it just doesn't work. Right now, we feel like we're the second best car, and this car isn't great right now. He's extremely loose in and extremely loose off, Shannon.
Well, Ryan Newman's team told me today that the biggest thing in these races is track position. They started off great, 6th place qualifying effort, but fell back a little bit. They decided to take 2 tires on that last pit stop to try to get Ryan some track position. Right now, he says these 2 tires are no good. It's going to hurt me more than it helped me. Guys?
Thanks, guys. Great update on the top 10. And back up front, you saw a moment ago Denny Hamlin go rocketing by Jimmy Johnson to become our 6th different leader tonight. Johnson had fallen back by his 2nd and is now starting to reel Denny Hamlin in. Denny Hamlin has run here 8 times, has never had a top 5 finish at this racetrack. Back after this message and a word from our ABC station.